protect their land for wildlife habitat or for some value of theirs or ethic that they feel public access would be detrimental to. We're also flexible, so other agencies are really a lot more restrictive. They have one thing that they do, and as I showed earlier, we have a long list of options. And we can work with each landowner individually. No conservation easement is the same. They're like fingerprints, very unique. And of course, we have strong partnerships, and we all do here in Northwest Arkansas. I don't think that there's any other agency or conservation nonprofit that doesn't have the mentality of, if I can't do it for you, I can find someone to do it for you. And that's the mentality we have. If you call our office and it's for something that we don't do, it's not in our wheelhouse, we can connect you to someone who can help with that. So we all rely on strong partnerships. And of course, I wanted to real quick just talk about our Landwise initiative, because that's really something that we've got going on, and I wanted to share with you how we are working right now to help to increase our effectiveness and increase the pace of land conservation. One is to really start the conversation with regional decision makers, local governments, local partnered organizations and things like that. We're meeting with landowners on a regular basis, and we're working to educate the community. That's part of why I'm here today. And we're also trying to get more land saved. This is informed in part by the Northwest Arkansas Open Space Plan. That's something I wanted to mention. The work we do is really informed by a lot of resources and a lot of quantitative work, and this is a great example of that. If you haven't visited the Open Space Plan website and taken a look at it, I think it'd be really interesting to you. But based on that plan, we identified these 4 conservation priority areas, and each of them are really for different conservation values. But some of the overarching themes are landscape connectivity, wildlife habitat, cultural heritage, and working lands. Greater Kessler region right here, Kessler Mountains right here. It's one mountain of a chain of 4 mountains. So we're trying to conserve as many of these properties as we can to have a nice core of pristine habitat for wildlife. And there are a lot of unique ecosystems in this area that we would like to see conserved. Next we have the West Fork of the White River Corridor. This is a strong contributor to water quality. A lot of reaches of the West Fork are impaired. And so we're trying to work with like the WCRC to help restore riparian areas and hopefully continue to protect our drinking water source. Next is the Illinois River Headwaters Corridor. We would like to be able to connect this core with Weddington Woods up here. That way, wildlife populations can move. That's going to be a big help for keeping our wildlife populations healthy, because we can get some genetic exchanging between those cores. And there's also a lot of farmland in here we'd love to see protected to keep our identity here in Northwest Arkansas's rural area. And then finally we have this funky looking spaghetti-like area called the Beaver Source Water Protection Area. This is the area of land that rainfall and other precipitation reaches the lake within 24 hours of the precipitation event. So it does not have much time to get filtered and processed by those natural areas. So if we can keep some forest land there, we're going to really have a strong impact on water quality. So that's an area we'd really like to see some land conserved, and I know our partners with the Beaver Water District and Beaver Watershed Alliance would like to see as well. Okay, so how can we succeed? There are 3 things we need as a nonprofit to succeed. One is we need people to help us save land. We need people to help us with volunteer efforts and things like that. You guys are our people. I mean, really, most of you have already worked with us in the past. So you're our friends for sure. Next thing is we need land. We need landowners that are a conservation ethic that want to see their land protected forever. And we have a lot of landowners in this area that are like that. And of course, we need funding, either through individual donations to grant writing and all that stuff. We can't do it without a little bit of dough. All right, so last thing before we go, I mentioned the people, and because you guys are the best people, we have 2 new projects that we're looking for in the next year, and JB, I will be emailing you about these. We are putting in public trail access on 2 preserves. Wilson Springs is so well located to be a place for people to connect with nature in Fayetteville. We want to make it available. So we're working to develop a trail access plan And then Flint Creek Preserve is in Springtown, Arkansas. It's just near Gentry. And the landowner that donated that land to us wanted it to be open to the public. And so we're working to do that. But we need some labor, some good trail builders with good experience on making trails that are low impact and environmentally, ecologically sustainable. So if this is something you'd like to do, keep your eyes open and stay tuned for opportunities to get involved. Okay, so thanks for bearing with me. I'm sorry if I went over. We're on Facebook and all these things. If you want to help, like us, like our page on Facebook and all that stuff. You'd be surprised at how much that helps. I got a couple questions. Okay, yeah, good question. So you asked about the Buffalo River Alliance, Buffalo River Watershed Alliance, correct? Is that the organization? Okay, good. Well, there's the Buffalo River Foundation as well. So I think we haven't done a whole lot of like collaborative work because their area is outside of our area. So we're trying to, we've had meetings with them to try to advise as much as we can as far as like how to start their nonprofit and do their work. But they're definitely friends of ours, but we haven't actually done any kind of like official, like collaborative efforts. Yeah.
If someone donates the land to you, you're going to live on it. And there's a mishap. Are they liable for that mishap? And when they pass on, are you liable for the land?
So the question is about liability as far as public access is concerned, mostly? Yeah, so if a landowner gives the land to us and they still live on it, which is an option, it's called a reserve life estate, where we own the land, but they let to live on it. It's just part of the agreement. If there's someone's hiking and they fall off the cliff and they break their leg and they sue, we are protected as a nonprofit from to a certain extent. And then we also have, again, part of that accreditation is a liability policy that helps to protect us. And I think probably the landowner would be in a similar situation as that. So most of the time though, if we have, if it's not open to the public, if someone's on there, they're trespassing. And if they are on there on a sanctioned event, they've signed a waiver that releases their liability. And so we would do that too if we could for that kind of situation. So, yeah.
Is a land trust, well, actually across the nation, is there a need for sort of a law enforcement arm, or do you just avoid, I mean, I'm just curious if you have to even involve that whole process when you're in this business of protecting property?
Right, well, if you think about like the state parks or the Forest Service, they do all have a law enforcement arm. I think from a land trust perspective, since we're privately owned and operated, that law enforcement would probably be outside of our scope. So what we would need to do, and what we've done in the past, is just partner with law enforcement, local law enforcement.
The regional, right?
Yeah. So we would lean on our police officers here. Say, hey, we've got a vandalism issue or a trespassing issue. Could you maybe do some extra drive-bys to help and police that for us?
Right. So you just keep them in the know when there's a shift in ownership.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. Of course, I had 3 business cards that I gave to Kara. And I also mention that we do have our offices, physical offices are in Fayetteville, the Old Smokehouse. It's it's on MLK, right across from the Rupel Road extension. And also, if you want to get in touch with me and you want to write this down, there's my contact information and our phone number. We also have our website and everything. This is a fact sheet about the land trust. It kind of goes into a little bit more concise detail about who we are. And if you want to know more about Wilson Springs, we do have, looks like we have one more. Take a look at this. It's just a little bit of information about the property. Some of its history. It's a really interesting place. And of course, send me an email if you have any further questions.
I thought you were passing that out.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This is just one.
Yeah, just there for reference. So, okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. We're going to break for 8 minutes.
shake your other hand.
Anita.
Because I don't want to make your camera hand get busy. Did you get you some snacks?
Yes, thank you.
Help yourself to some more. Get some more.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I'll have video on YouTube and all.
Anita, I want.
And by the time that great period is over,